In a world of video stores and late fees, when movies ain't what they used to be, one podcast will change the world. They will embark on a journey to look at the good and bad movies from the golden era of home video. And things are about to get nostalgic. The VHS will rise and screaming will fall.
Whoa, Dave, this has got to be the worst promo I have ever heard.
No, it isn't.
If you're going down the route of the video trailer, man, Dave, I want a training montage.
Coming soon on a podcast near you. And if you listen to one podcast this week, then you're probably listening to Joe Rogan. But if you've exhausted all other podcasts, then the VHS Strikes Back is one to try.
Right, welcome everybody to another episode of Chris and Dave's Reality Cast. I'm one of your hosts, Chris, and my co-host, our very good friend, is Dave.
Hey there, Chris, and hello to our listeners out there. Welcome to Chris and Dave's Reality TV Cast. We are covering Married at First Sight UK Series 7, episodes 29 and 30. The final episodes, Chris. The reunion, dinner party, and kind of commitment ceremony. Where would you like to start today?
Well, big apologies because we've had so many people asking where we are, but it's been Jordan's birthday this week, so we couldn't record. I didn't want to commit, didn't want to mess you about, and I certainly didn't want to mess Jordan and Sam about by saying, I'm just podcasting and we were doing things, so that wouldn't have gone down very well. So I do apologise, guys, but we're here, and Dave, I have been so excited to speak to you. You know, we've got the end of MAFS now, episode 29 and 30. Fucking hell. So I think, for me, it's got to be Whitney and Matt. You know, there's been so much time wasted on these two, which for me is completely unwarranted. This first episode, we get nearly half an hour about their relationship, or the fact that, unbelievably, Dave, I know you were actually quite upset by this, but they're not together, Dave. So what do you think about that?
I am flabbergasted. I mean, I did actually go back and listen, and I'm sure you said they'd stay together, whereas I said there'd be a holiday romance. Yeah, so the radar was a bit off there. No, actually, I didn't go back. I think we both might have said that. And I just thought there was a small chance because, I mean, he's fake as fuck. And I'm sure we'll spend a lot of time on him today, but we'll try and make sure we speak about the other couples as well. So yeah, when they came in, I mean, it was still very raw, and to be honest, you know, I think Whitney's been horrid throughout this whole series, and she's shown absolutely no empathy, or she just doesn't give a fuck about anyone apart from herself and Matt, and she seemed genuinely upset by it. He just didn't give a toss. I think he'd had his time in the camera. Turns up like a fucking chimney sweep in shorts. And it's like, oh, yeah. Oh, excuse me, Mum. Nah, it's not, mate. And we know, Chris, just from, you know, reports in the media, from what other people have said, because this was shown at 8 o'clock, I mean, there was no real explanation, was it? It's just, we're going to show this at 8 o'clock. There's been some rapid re-editing gone on, and basically they've chopped this down to sanitize it before the watershed. And for those of you listening outside the UK, 9 o'clock is a big cutover in the UK. It's basically before that is when you expect the kids to be up. And after 9 o'clock, it's not quite anything goes. You know, it's not switch on the Dutch channels or whatever back in the day. But,
maybe for you, Dave. But
things can be of a more adult theme, you know. So things can be of more a sexual theme, of a violent themes, a bit more swearing and what have you. So 9 o'clock is kind of a big deal in the UK. It's a bit of a nonsense because most people stream nowadays anyway, but that is how it is. So moving it to 8 o'clock, everyone knew it would be toned down anyway. But it does sound like it's almost an excuse to tone it down, you know? And from what we've heard around, you know, some of the goings on from certain people there, Matt. Apparently it was a fucking absolute shit show, massive car crash, but then it all just got cut down. Now the thing that is puzzling me, Chris, actually there's a lot that's puzzling me, but why did they give them, Matt and Whitney, such a generous edit? All this shit is shot way before we see it. So they know well before, they show the final commitment ceremony where Matt said his apologies and walked off. The episode before that was still done way in advance. So why did they spend so much time building them up like this couple that we should all love? And we don't. I don't get it. Just cut the fucker out of the edit, the whole edit.
Yeah, I'm with you. I don't get it. He must be, and I mentioned it, me and you were chatting, and we said it on Discord as well, is he must have some sort of relationship with someone on the production, or he's a friend of the experts, and we'll get onto them fucking bellends as well. But I genuinely don't get it. They've absolutely given basically a Jax edit of Love Island, and all the stuff that come out about Jax after he left was a fucking disgrace. We're given this fairy tale story that he's had to go for his mental health and blah, blah, blah. That fucker was being horrible to people when he got out of the villa. And him and fucking Luca Bist, who fucking sucks off fish, they were all fucking being horrible to everyone. They were.
Yeah.
And what I have a real...
I was laughing at the name, not the...
Yeah, I know you was.
I
couldn't think what I said. He's a fucking fish face, fuck face, fucker, or something like that I said. But what's got my go up here is me and you, you see things on social media, and yes, we all have our biases on these shows with who you like, who you don't like. Me and you see things differently with contestants and that. But what's really getting my back up, Dave, that the situation with Matt, and we have seen stuff firsthand from contestants on the show that were there who've spilled a lot of tea. They can't spell tea, Dave, before, but they spilled a lot of tea over the last couple of days. And it looks like Matt has got the full-on mental health edit, which for me, I am fucking livid with, Dave, because I'm sick to death of seeing this. Matt has been disgusting. Even what we've seen, he's been disgusting. And I've tried not to say it because once you say it and it's out there, we're nobody. We're not like, it's going to be in the fucking papers or anything. But I'm going to say it now once and for all. He's a bully. He's an arrogant bully who is only in it for the fucking media clout, and everything he's done on this show has been a disgrace. And it looks, reading between the lines, that the way he character assassinated Gemma by pulling her apart at every indiscretion and saying all these things about, yes, Gemma was crude and everything. I'm not defending that. However, that girl didn't deserve what he did, and he character assassinated her. And also, I think that's what he's done to Whitney, reading between the lines. I've got to grow. I've got to do this. I've got to do that. Fucking 35 minutes on that first reunion episode on them two. And I'm sorry, he's not worth the fucking airtime. And there's something going on here, and I can't put my finger on it. But I was livid, Dave. I was just like, why are you going down this route? By the sounds of it, he was a complete twat at the reunion party, especially with Sophie. And it's a disgrace for me. And honestly, the fucking experts, they're not experts, the celebrities, they are just presenters. And it felt very Laura Whitmore in the way that they just passed off his bad behaviour like it was fucking nothing. Oh, I've been dying to talk about this, Dave, and offload, but what a fucking cock he is.
Yeah, I can tell. But like you say, he's played the mental health card. He said about the stuff that's going on. Was it his mum or...
Yeah, his mum, yeah. Yeah.
Okay, so, I mean, if they'd have shown everything, I think there's probably a line, even for reality TV, isn't there?
Yeah.
Where they're like, if it goes too far off, like Australia Love Island Season 1, where there was obvious scrapping, and they cut a lot of it, but you could still see the start of it, and you could see the end when everyone's clothes are ripped and they look like they're in the Flintstones or something, and you're like, oh, they've been scrapping there. We haven't seen that since. So they're obviously, there is a line for how much drama they'll show, even though they know that's how they get the ratings and everything. But, so I can get not showing all of that and being kind to him in the edit, because you want to, if something went wrong down the line, you don't want to be, accountable for having contributed for something going wrong down the line. But why have him so much in the fucking show? And also, again, all this shit, all this behaviour, this toxic fucking masculine behaviour, has obviously been there for a while. Like I say, way before we saw it. So, I don't understand why they couldn't just cut him out the show, cut all his involvement. They've got enough material on the other couples. I don't understand that. But the third thing I don't understand, Chris, is why the fuck did they paint the picture that all the problems were with Gemma in that relationship when they first got together? Because they made it out like it was just her relentless, vulgar comedy, like sexual comedy, that was the problem. And honestly, that is how it looked. And I remember saying and laughing at the time, it's like, come on, just give it a rest. Yeah, okay, I'll give it a rest. Get your dick out.
Yeah.
It was kind of like, that's how it was edited. But I just don't believe that. So why did the Married at First Sight production team actually paint it that way? So that we think, oh, fucking hell, okay, I can see where Matt's coming from here. Whereas he is this toxic bully. It makes no sense to me. But I do think, Chris, that there is a running theme throughout this. I think there is a misogyny with this program and this production team, to be honest. Because it's not just in evidence here, it's in evidence with other couples as well.
Yeah, I think you're right, Dave, because watching that, I had my jaw on the floor. You can see that Gemma, no matter what Matt says, she's fuming. She's got the scars, some of the stuff she said, and I'll let people go and find that stuff. It's there on social media. The stuff that's come out is like, wow, wow. And the production team have just let this go. Fucking Mel's there smiling, Paul's there. Oh, it's fucking great, man. It's like, these deserve nothing.
It's great. It's great that you. What was it he said just before Matt? He said his apologies. It was in the final episode, wasn't it? He said his apologies, and Paul with his big fucking shit-eating grin there is saying, "Oh yeah, it's good that you recognise your faults, and you can grow from there." In other words, well done, you. No, fuck off.
Yeah.
That really fucking agitated me, to be honest, Chris. That there was no need for like a big fucking smiley face and not holding him to account. Again, cut him out the fucking edit, if anything, to show him for what he is. The fucking worst option is to send him off like he's been a naughty little boy and like, well done, you. I think this is a learning moment.
Fuck off. And they're watching different things, and what makes me laugh is the experts. Matt's been horrible and just he's been that alpha bell end, and they just pass it off like, oh, tensions are a bit high. No, this guy is a fucking bully, and you're doing nothing. You're not holding him accountable. And I know we're talking about the first reunion episode because obviously the Sophie situation, I was like, wow, Jonathan's been a fucking dick. Yeah, he was cringing. He was like, oh no, and they were chatting and everything. And Jonathan just sits there and does nothing. I know they're not together, and Sophie's still got some affection towards him. She's sort of laughing about it now. But Matt's just like, fuck off. And then Gemma said, hang on, you were slating these people. And he cannot take anything. And what's annoying me, Dave, is members of that cast, including people like Zoe and that, who apparently Matt was cutting her hair, they were friends, and he was saying that we're all in this for the fucking celebrity status, which we can see that because now he's fucked off with Maralise out of the last series, apparently, on holiday, and he's seen her. Talk about
shocker,
I know, another Z fucking listed, Dave. You know what I mean? So it's like they've all got some form of not PTSD, but they've all got battle scars from Matt and not being able to express themselves. Zoe was the best person who's tackled Matt because she stood no shit. But I'm sure there's plenty of times where she's had to keep her mouth shut because she cannot believe it. So Yeah, I just felt, I felt this series that it's fantastic TV, and me and you, we're talking about it. It draws everybody in, and people are like, oh my God, but there's plenty of people on our Facebook page, on Discord. We've had emails, loads of people who don't listen to us, but on social media, you put MAFS in and loads have said, I've turned off, and loads of people have tackled, mainly Paul. And I'm not saying that Paul should get all the shit. I know we've singled him out, not singled him out, but we've actually spoke to him. You've spoke to him on Twitter, haven't you? I'd love you to talk about that if you don't mind. But
tweeting back and forth.
Tweets back and forth. No, but you've got a response, because I didn't get a response, because I said you need to be better, and it's nice that he'll engage with people, but he has put himself out there and said that in 6 months' time he's happy to come back, but he wants to reveal what they got wrong at the end of this. Well, it's been a few days now, Paul, so let's hear the things that you've promised. He's openly agreed with people who've said you've got this wrong. The people on the show are disgraced. You don't watch any of the other things other than the dinner party, and it just doesn't work with what's going on this episode, this series. So I'm happy to say to Paul, we've both praised Paul over the time. He's so smooth and class, but this last couple of weeks, not just him, all the judges have let themselves down because they've just allowed bad behaviour, and that is not right.
Yeah, and I think it was over the whole Whitney and Matt thing, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Because when it all unfolded, 95% of people were like, what the fuck are you doing? And the way you're blowing smoke up their arse, it's just fucking wrong. You're rewarding that bad behaviour. What the fuck is going on? I think that was the thing he said, hold me to account for. I've not seen any response to that. But it's funny, Chris, because you messaged him from your personal account, whereas I messaged him from the CD account. I think Paul might be a listener, I think he might be. I think he might be sat at home fucking stewing with a dartboard of me and you, or at least a logo, fucking throwing it like, you fucking assholes. You're a power cap in your fucking ass. So, yeah, because he didn't respond to your sort of personal account, did he? But within minutes. So there were two tweets, Chris, and I thought, we're a bit shit at social media, aren't we? So I popped onto our Twitter, and I was just having a look for some of the chat. It was in the adverts. And then I think someone had written something to Paul that, like, the couples are an absolute joke in this in this series. They're all splitting up. Now, I think it was misinterpreted, because what I responded to this person and subsequently Paul was, I think I put something like great couples 0, great messy drama 1, something like that, doing the old football scores sort of thing. But the undertones, we love the drama, but obviously I didn't explicitly state that. Now, I think he took it badly because he replied, false. Zoe and Jenna are still together. It just had a little chuckle, because I thought, it did cross my mind, Chris, to respond back and say, well, if we're keeping scores, actually it's couples 1, fucking non-couples 9 or something, whatever the amount of couples it is. But I thought, no, I'll just let him stew there. But I'm sure we'll come back to Matt and Whitney a bit later. But if we switch over to Jordan and Shanita, we've said for a little while now, haven't we? There's something off about Jordan. Now, what seemed to come across, again, it's all edited, we know it's edited, but what screamed out of the TV, Chris, was that basically, after the show's finished, Jordan's just pretty much ghosted her. Just said, done nothing, no real excuses or anything, almost just like, I can't be arsed anymore. And I didn't appreciate how Paul, both in the series, both in the last episode and then Unveiled was on after, he was like, I still hold out hope for these two. I'm like, why are you fucking trying to push these back together? He is literally fucking ghosted her. Completely disrespectful. We've said all along, he is a bit immature. He just shows that. It's not her fucking job to wait around for him to mature. So, what did I put? I think I responded. I said something about not appreciating, if I'd have known you were going to put the spotlight, I'd have actually checked it. But hold on, let me do this, Chris. Add a bit of hold music.
You
should know what our own fucking... You're doing well. I didn't say stop. Here we go, Chris. I can actually do it justice now. So I put, wow. Paul trying to convince Shanita to take back Jordan after being treated with utter disrespect. Hashtag maths unrevealed. Unveiled even, not fucking unrevealed. And he's responded. Again, can't quite see here. It doesn't have the times, but it was pretty fucking quick, Chris. And he says, I'm not going to do the accent because I've not been practicing like someone else. But he says, I heard they've been back together since we filmed this weeks ago. Anything else you want to say? Question mark. So I'm like, right, fucking yes, I do. Sometimes it's better to walk away with, after that amount of disrespect, take those lessons into the next relationship. And then I signed off. Happy to reconvene on that in 6 months. And then he's responded, Chris, let's do it.
Yeah, but I need to jump in on something there. Fantastic, by the way, that you got this. Paul doesn't know who the fuck he's messing with, Dave, because you are uber organised, uber on the ball, and also you will not forget in 6 months because
fucking calendar.
Oh no, it is
because it's the 18th of April.
I know. I was fucking crying, going, "Oh, Paul, you have fucked right up," because I know exactly who you're going to be tweeting on the 18th of April, Dave, next year. Because as soon as I saw it, I'm pissing myself, going, "Oh, Paul, you fucked up, my friend. You have fucked up by saying that," because he's thinking, these fuckers are not going to be here in 6 months fucking tweeting me. Well, Paul, if you are listening, you are in for a fucking big shock, my friend.
Steady on.
Not in a bad way, but you won't forget that. You won't forget.
No, definitely not.
That's what I meant. Not in a bad, not like we're coming after you, Paul. Not like that. I just mean, the challenge has been set, Dave, and you will always rise to the challenge, my friend. So I'm looking forward to this because I thought it was brilliant. I was like, oh dear me.
Yeah, I mean, he's got a much bigger Twitter following, Chris. We've got what have we got? About 200. He's got 112,500 followers. But interestingly, only 2 likes for that post.
Yeah.
But, honestly, I think that was yet another example of this weird kind of misogyny going over. It's not a fucking woman's job to hang around till, a bloke matures. And honestly, I feel to my core, he's massively fucking disrespected her there. You cannot come back from that. He's got to fucking grow up. But it should be a closed door. Shanita shouldn't fucking let him back in. No, and if Paul is right that they are back together, I'll just be massively disappointed and quite happy to revisit that in 6 months. But I just don't think it's a woman's job to fucking hang around for the bloke to mature and like decide that, you know what, I am into it. Because, when Duca's like speaking to you, I don't really like that. So I don't want you, but I don't really want anyone else to have you either.
No, it's unbelievable. You're right. And I'm with you. I just put I think Joe's been a bell end. And then he got a little bit jealous, Dave, when Duca was like, oh, so you're single then? Oh, righty. And next minute he sits between them, Dave. It was like, oh, so you don't want her, but you don't want anyone else to have her as well. So
almost convinced that was almost word for word what I said.
Yeah. No. Don't fucking write that in your diary.
Was that one of those moments where both of us do it? We just zone out when the other one.
I got told off about that by Sam. Sam said that. She said, I can tell when you two haven't been listening. And you know what I did the other day? Sam was saying something, and I just said the most generic response ever, Dave. Something where I wasn't listening. I was on my phone or whatever, and I just literally said, I can't what I just said some like word, and she just turned around and went, "You're not even fucking watching this, you're not even listening. You've just said that because you think that'll get you out of the fucking question that I'm asking. You're not listening." And then we both just started pissing ourselves laughing, and I went, "I've got no excuse." She went, "I can hear it all the time on the podcast for you and Dave because she obviously knows us so." She's like, "You can tell," he said, "it's mainly you than Dave, but I can tell when you both do it." And you're like, yeah. And then you say the same thing the person just said before.
Yeah, I've done it a few times as well. It's usually when I'm trying to read something while you're talking, and I can hear that you're talking, and then it's only when I'm listening back in the edit, I'm like, yeah, I just fucking repeated the same thing pretty much.
But you know what I want to talk about, Dave, as well? I want to talk about, on these shows, right? Obviously, the first episode's the film months ago, and it's a journey. And we know off Lara that her and Richie's journey was like 2 weeks in the show, but it was a month's worth of filming. So obviously, the other contestants who've been there to the end, it's been about 3 months, I'd say, roughly. And then you've got the reunions and all. So it's a long process of keeping your mouth shut. You're not allowed to say anything. This show comes out, it's already wrapped for them, but they've gone along with it every night and they're talking about the show and all that. I love on these shows where they come into it and they're nothing, and they come in and it's like, yeah, I want to find love. And they're dressed, they've probably gone and got a few nice outfits from fucking guys might have gone to, say, I don't know, River Island or Zara, or in my case, probably fucking Primani, Dave. They've gone and bought some newer clothes to look a bit nice and all that. We get to the final and these fuckers have gone full on, I'm fucking Brad Pitt and Angelina Jolie, because Matt comes in dressed as a fucking 1950s schoolboy with them fucking shorts on that were from when he was about 12. And fucking Richie comes in with fucking Crocodile Dundee's fucking leather pants on. I was like, oh, you fuckers have gone full on Z celebrity. I'm going to go to even the opening of a fucking letter because they're going to be on every Z-list fucking show from here until fucking Christmas, Dave. They're going to be on everything. And Richie's pants, Jesus Christ, Dave, he was sweating his fucking bollocks off on that chair. They were classics.
All I could think about was Friends. When Ross gets his leather pants.
The towel.
And Chandler's like, Ross, Tom Jones called, he wants his pants back.
But I think this was filmed on like the hottest day of the year, Dave. I think you can see these these shots of the crew when they were filming it, and they've got fucking shorts and vests on. He's got full-on leather pants, fucking Crocodile Dundee, unbelievable.
Yeah, they're just trying to wring the last few pips out, aren't they, of fame, but Chris, again, it was so explosive apparently, and it was all going off, and we didn't fucking get to see it. I want #release the dickhead cuts. I want to see this stuff. But apparently, it was getting so bad to try and distract people. This is like something out of fucking Smoking the Bandit, this, right? So apparently, and I've got this from various like Instagram lives and stuff, Lara just stood up, got her boobs out to distract everyone. I don't know. Actually, no, not Smoking the Bandit. Like Cannonball Run.
Cannonball Run. Yeah.
I know that, isn't it? But fucking didn't get to see that either.
Well, most men are a sucker for a pair of boobs, Dave. Everyone would have stopped arguing and gone, "Oh right."
Don't know if it works, but I thought that was pretty funny.
Well, we spoke to Lara, and Lara's like so outgoing and friendly and funny, and she's definitely had a bad edit, Dave, because they've shown nothing. And that fake fucking Richie's going, oh yeah, I didn't get together with someone. I'm like, okay, mate, you're still not being fucking Darren Osborne's stepdad on Hollyoaks, so don't fucking carry on. You know what I mean? I was just like, oh, fuck off.
The problem is, I mean, you and I like a joke, and even when we're not recording, we'll ring each other up and have lots of jokes and stuff. But in that environment, if you were paired up with the female version of David Brent, and then straight away it's like, go get the guitar. you would spend most of your time just being like, what the fuck is going on? You'd be more Tim from The Office, wouldn't you, than anything else? Just like looking at the camera like, am I really here? Like, what is going on here? So, yeah, I think it was a bad edit, but I think it was just a bad situation as well.
Yeah, I just think the whole thing was a fucking farce, wasn't it, Dave? I mean, even like, Kwame and Keisha, she cannot stand him. She cannot stand him, Dave. Like she's had so much time to reflect. And I thought he come in and straight away, you look sexy. And it's like, and you could see her skin crawling, couldn't you? She was like, oh, mate, just fucking stop. There's nothing there for you. Don't do it. She's gone past the point of like, we're friends to like, I fucking hate you. And there's just nothing between them now.
No, and I think it's pretty much predictable, isn't it? She's gone through this process. She's tried as much as she can to make it work, but then probably on reflection, and definitely after seeing it, again, I don't think it was shown when they did the whole reunion, but Jesus Christ, I mean, just thinking back to how he was. And the fact is, she was looking for that affection for a long part of the process, and he gave her absolutely nothing. And then once he's got a bit of a cold shoulder, he throws out like, oh, you're looking sexy. It's like, mate, just fucking read the room. That is the worst thing you could have said at that worst time, I think. Because you're throwing it out there because you think, like, oh, she's annoyed because he doesn't see me as someone he's attracted to or whatever, and then you throw that comment out. I thought it was shit. Not as shit, though, as when someone says to you, do you appreciate, Keisha's feelings are hurt, and do you not think you should apologise? Well, you would think that, wouldn't you? And Jesus Christ. I mean, that bunch of shithouses down at the Houses of Parliament, by the way, Chris.
Oh, yes.
What a fucking bunch of clowns they are. But, I mean, Kwame would do well down there, wouldn't he? Because what a fucking politician. I mean, eventually he did, after he gives this verbal diarrhea for a while, he did actually get an apology in there somewhere, but it was so fucking painful and drawn out. I don't understand what his problem is there to like, just apologise. Even if you don't know exactly what you've done right. If you've hurt someone's feelings unknowingly, right, you should apologise. That's it. There's no grey areas there. But he just won't fucking have it at all. So, yeah, she's like closed door. And even at the dinner party, she's like, nah, I've got no questions. I'm not playing. And I thought that was the best response, to be honest.
Yeah, and it's just weird, isn't it? Because you look at them, and I'm happy that she's not with Kwame and they can move on, whatever we think. And then you had PJ and Jess came in, don't really care about them, to be honest. Thought PJ was a great guy. Jess had said, I think Shanita's mum had gone to see him in action, Dave, which I thought was quite funny, and he's a good guy. Look, it's just, it didn't work out for them. And then it was like, I'd like to say, Lara and Richie didn't really get much time. They give him a little bit on the last episode, but there's just nothing, and they're just like bit part players. But like even Duca, he had a little bit of a chat with Matt, didn't he, at the dinner table, saying, why didn't you just tell me? You know what I mean? And Matt's like, bullshit. Well, it moved too fast, mate. I couldn't believe it. And I'm like, oh, whatever. But it's
fucking bullshit. He doesn't respect you enough to have that conversation with you.
Yes.
That is the truth.
Yeah, I agree. And he had no respect. And obviously, he was probably getting Whitney's side of everything, how, what Bella and Duca was, and he don't give a shit and all this. I think just Duca was embarrassed. I think he knew from get-go there was nothing there between them. I mean, he could only say that she made a lovely round of toast for him, Dave, and a brew. And then, well, you're fucked then, aren't you? You are absolutely fucked.
There, wasn't it?
That was like...
Again, I think time's been fairly kind to him. I've no doubt he has got full DMs and is doing all right for himself right now. But I think as the show went on, I think I'm more likely to sign, fucking hell, Dave, speak English, side with Duca. Unlike Chris, yourself, who proudly wore the T-shirt, which I haven't printed yet, but the hashtag Team Whitney side.
No, that was just one episode. There was a little bit of something that I spotted, and I thought maybe that's why she's been so obnoxious. But I was incorrect there, Dave, but that didn't fall under the reality radar banner, Dave, because I didn't actually prefix it with that, so that doesn't count when I make one mistake. But anyway, one of the things, I know we talked about Sophie and Matt and it all kicked off, but I was so pleased for Sophie not being with Jonathan.
Yeah.
So pleased, Dave. That is the right call. He's not going to change. I thought Sophie was lovely. I initially called Sophie out thinking Sophie was going to be up her own arse. She wasn't.
The edit made us think that. The
Yes.
edit painted her, the woman, in quite a bad light. Painted her like she was this massive money grabber or something, and this go-getter, and she's not going to be satisfied with this, joiner, because that's a lower class than him. That's how it was fucking edited for us.
Yeah, I agree. And it was completely wrong. And obviously by the end of it, you were like, Jonathan, you're a cock. But Dave, can we move on to the last episode then? Because I've got a couple of things to say.
I will just say, at least Jonathan, when he saw the clips of himself back, at least he said it's wrong. What I said there. But that is the only bit of evidence that he's actually willing to learn. And I think that is the biggest problem I have with Jonathan is he clearly just... People will tell him these things, first of all nicely, and then more forcefully, but he just doesn't give a fuck.
Yeah.
So people like that, they're just not going to learn. So, everyone can make a mistake, but, you've got to fucking learn from it.
You do. And I think, we started that episode before, with Matt and Whitney again, and then we got this, Matt's not going to be taking part. He obviously has been fucked off Jack style and said...
Off.
Yeah, he's booted off, and they've given him a nice edit. What annoyed me was Paul said, mistakes are forgivable. Thank you very much. And they all fuck off. And then we don't see him again. Well, what really got my back up is Elvis. Thank you very much. He's changed that. I've not been practicing as much since last time. But what really got my back up about that whole thing about them again allowing his behaviour was Mel went in on Thomas and she went in on Jonathan. Yeah. And two people I do think needed to be held accountable because the behaviour at times was fucking disgraceful. But again, you have a go at them two, but Matt gets nothing, who obviously acted worse than anybody on the show, if everything we've heard is to be believed, and I do believe it is. And that's where your moral compass as an expert fucking is nothing to me. You are no one. You're just reading off a script and you're going along. I mean, Charlene didn't really do much. She seemed to be Switzerland in a lot of it. But Paul and Mel were the two that, for me, really got my backs up because I was like, there's no need for you to let him off with that. No matter what's going on in his life, and, it's terrible. He's going for a lot of things with his mum and that. It still doesn't allow you to be a bellend, Dave. It doesn't. There's times where you lose your temper when someone's, seriously ill and all that, and things get to you and you can't take it. And I have no doubt about that. We've all been through that. I've got no problem. However, it doesn't allow you to be a complete cock with people. And that excuse for me was wearing very thin. And the fact that they enabled it and then went at other people. And like I say, Jonathan and Thomas, I agree with what they were saying to them. But 10 minutes earlier, didn't say fuck all, did you? And just let him go off into the sunset. So I just, that's just where the barometer of the moral compass, shall we say, is fucking skewed as usual on these shows.
Yeah, absolutely. I think if you look at each of those chats in a silo, you're like, all right, okay, that's the approach that you've taken. But to give Matt a complete pass, and then basically show Thomas all his worst bits, show Jonathan all his worst bits, and you're like, well, hang about, what the fuck's all this about? And you say, maybe they're doing it in some misguided attempt for this, be kind to Matt kind of thing. What about be fucking kind to everyone else? What about actually put his fucking feet to the fire and really make him fucking face up to how he's been? And again, the stuff that we've seen, that's nothing to do with, something that is going on in someone's life right now. You can tell, because you've met people like it in your life. This is a consistent behaviour. We'll get to an email a little bit later, won't we, where, that was nothing to do with the show.
Yeah.
So it's consistent behaviour. So, I completely agree with you, Chris. That really fucking pissed me off as well. Yeah,
and it's just a shame, Dave, that this is consistently on the shows we've watched this year has been a thing, hasn't it? With Jax, with obviously Matt now. And again, like you say, the men seem to be able to get away with just bad behaviour. And that's, we're changing as a society, and that's not right.
Well, Nikita got chucked off last year, didn't she?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, good point. Yeah.
Similar kind of behaviour.
Yeah.
And it's just weird. A weird double standard where she got chucked off, but Matt doesn't, and he gets a really kind edit.
Yeah.
I don't get it. And then again, if I'm just looking at those two cases, I say, oh, right, okay, well, that's just those events, and we look at those on their own. But then, like I say, the way it was with other couples as well, the Shanita and Jordan thing, the Jonathan and Sophie, the whole editing there just seems to be this consistent beneficial edit for the blokes.
Yeah, again. And if you look at one of the other couples we've not even mentioned, Dave, and they were still together. So the two couples that were together, which shows again how bad the experts are, because we've got like two couples out of all of them who at the end of this process was together, was April and George and Jenna and Zoe. And Jenna and Zoe said it's working, they're making time. Jenna works Saturday, Sunday. Zoe works Monday to Friday. So there's an issue there. However, they haven't moved to Manchester, as you'd predicted, and they actually said, which was a good call. But it looks like it's working, and they're still together. But George and April didn't really get a lot of the things. They were still saying they loved each other, and they're making time. She dropped a day down at work. She dropped a day off. She's now 4 days a week, so she could spend quality time. And the experts were all in on that. And he's sort of thinking, well, they worked, but we know there's been other things in that which we won't get into. But it's just such a shame that it's just everything just didn't work this series again. I know there's going to be people who don't work and get fucked off and that. We watched that with like Love Is Blind and things like that when they get to the altar and that. But it's just purely what Matt had said to Zoe off camera about everyone's just in this for the fame. I think it's more apparent this series than any, and the 3 or 4 series of MAFS we've covered properly from start to finish.
Yeah. So, I mean, let's speak openly about it. Not opinion, but what are the facts? So it looks like George, it's been reported in a bunch of papers that George was arrested for, what was it, coercive control?
Yeah.
Now, it looks to me like this has happened after the show. Now, we haven't really talked that much about April, but the fact that she was still in that relationship come the end of the show is no surprise to me at all, because the reunion is a scheduled part of the show, isn't it?
Yes.
She wants to make that, and then she'll make the leap to the next fucking reality show. But I'm very intrigued about what is the fucking timeline here, because it seems like they're not together now. And from some of the cryptic kind of things that she said, very much like, I can't remember what she said now, but it made it out that it was really bad. But you look at this reunion and you're like, oh, you're playing it off like it's Love's Young Dream. Or is that all for the cameras? I mean, for me, I don't know exactly what the equation is, but the answer that's coming out in my head is just fake.
Yeah.
From April's side. Now, again, who knows what will happen with that thing with George. I mean, coercive control is incredibly hard to get a conviction on that. So probably nothing, honestly, will happen with that. But we've said about these, toxic kind of traits that he's got. And what I found weird was when Thomas was saying about, he's sorry to April if he said stuff to upset her and what have you. And, they were arguing down the other end of the table and he was saying, oh, it makes change. It's usually us, isn't it? And George was laughing like a maniac. He was like, yeah, it's great, isn't it? Yeah. I don't know what was going on there. It's just, I don't know whether he was geared up for a fight or something. And then, it's kind of diffused him to say that thing. But I thought that was weird. But what I didn't really like was that it came across like Thomas was apologising for everything. And we'd said, look, he's going past it now. It's becoming bullying. Just fucking drop it. And it seems like he's come to that realisation himself. But it made it feel like it was 100% Thomas's fault. And April was just accepting the apology and taking no accountability for her role in it. In that initial kerfuffle itself.
Yeah.
And again, it was all off camera, so we don't know. But, I kind of suspect there was something in that. It didn't just fucking spring up out of nothing.
No, and I think you're right, because to be fair, I thought it looked like Thomas had just made everything up, and I think it just looked like everything was his fault. I think you're right. I think like her not taking any accountability for it, saying anything, she wasn't innocent. We know she wasn't there when it initially kicked off because she wasn't well. And Thomas was like, the fucking liar and all this. And he's been so adamant that she's been lying and everything that it seemed, if I'm being honest, Dave, to me, it felt like Tom was like, oh shit, this is going to ruin any chance of me getting some deals after this show. So I need to just make some sort of apology. I'm not saying he wasn't sincere, but it seemed very calculated the way to do it. And then since then, his social media's like, can I just say I'm apologizing for what I've said, but I still believe she's a liar or something like that. And you're like, just let it go. Just let it go. It just seemed really out of character for the whole 28 episodes to then... It's great of him to do that and to reflect on it. If he does believe it, brilliant. But I wasn't really buying it, if I'm being honest.
I didn't see it exactly the same way as you. It came across to me that, when you're in that experiment, it's a pressure cooker, isn't it? And we know as well that there were things going on with his mum, and she was having an operation, quite a serious one. I think it was around about the time of the homestays or something, if I remember, or that's at least when it seems to come out on the show. So, but you know yourself, you've been in situations and like you've got your back up over something, and it's at the time it's the most important thing in the world, and nothing fucking annoys you more than this one thing. And then with a bit of time and space, you just think, yeah, I was a bit of a dickhead there. Actually, it didn't fucking matter, really. Why was I acting like that? I don't understand. Sometimes you do act and then you reflect on it. You're like, yeah, I don't like myself, how I came across there. So it seemed to me that he genuinely just brushed it all off and was just prepared to say, look, this is probably the last time we'll ever see each other. Let's not leave with any bad blood. That's how I took it.
And also, Dave, just finish on Thomas as well. It doesn't look like he's talking to Adrian now either.
But that's, but I don't quite know what's going on there. I can't go to all of these Instagram feeds, Chris. Fucking hell.
You're the sleuth, Dave.
Yeah, so I keep hearing this, that they're not speaking, but I just think that if you're going to be good friends with Thomas, I think there are going to be periods where there are blow-ups and you're not going to be speaking. So I don't know if this is like a permanent thing or, it's just a temporary, they've had a bit of a blow-up, but, it'll all be water under the bridge pretty soon.
Yeah, hopefully. So, Dave, have you got anything else to say about this magnificent show before we read our email?
So the stuff that we said about the misogyny, the, bad handling of Matt, I think, and Whitney to a lesser extent, I think is, it needs to be addressed. But for pure drama, which is the thing that we're here for, Chris, it was fucking brilliant. Best UK season ever. And you've always got like a recency bias, haven't you? The thing that you've seen the most recently, you like if it's a football match, that's the most important one, the one that's just gone. But well, apart from you, it's 1999. So I've got a bit of a recency bias, but I think this is at least on par with the last Australian season, season 9. And we've loved the Aussie seasons, haven't we? But I kind of think that, they might have to step up their game to reclaim that top spot now.
Well, Dave, I've heard a little whisper about something that happens. I'm not going to say in the Aussie one that's been filmed. I think that might top everything we've seen on any of the shows. And I'm not just saying that to big it up, and it's an absolute damp squib. But I agree. I think this has been amazing. And whatever we think of Matt, Whitney, Jonathan, to a lesser extent, people like Kwame and things like that, but they've brought something to the table that has got mine and your juices going, because we were like, right, we're not doing a daily podcast. It's once a week. Yeah. As soon as it kicks off, all I have to do is drop it in there. Maybe I've seen someone on social media, drop a few tweets to you, Dave. Then you go on Instagram, and here we are, my friend. You get sucked in every time. I love it. I absolutely love the fact that because it's so intense when we did Love Island, isn't it? It's such a commitment. We have our other podcasts as well, but it's a daily podcast, and you've got to watch it. You've got to find time to record, edit, get it out there. And we love doing it. That's why we do the podcast. We love it. We love talking to each other. Even off the podcast, like yesterday, we talked for an hour and we're like, we should have just done a podcast, shouldn't we? Because I couldn't commit to the time, but I was out and about doing things and we were just chatting. But I think it's so intense. So with this, we were like, no, we're setting out. This is what we're going to. And I agreed. I'm not just putting this all at your door. I was like, yeah, it's got to be once a week. We can't do it every day. But something's just happened. Are you free? Oh, yeah. Okay, let's record. We jump on, don't we? So, yeah, I love that. I love that spontaneity in the podcast. And then people tell us off then. They're like, is there a podcast today? Yeah. What are you doing, you pair of bastards? So, no, it's been good fun again, mate. And I rate this as one of my favourite series ever, I think. It's just been ridiculous. For horrible, not for niceness and the fairy tale ending. We got probably Jenna and Zoe, the only fairy tale ending, really. It's just been a fucking shit show, and I fucking love it, Dave.
Yeah, absolutely. So if you are listening, Paul, that first tweet was praise. We love the drama.
Yeah.
Even though all your couples are shit. Apart from, of course, Zoe and Jenna. Well done.
Yeah, well done them too. So, and please stay together, please, because otherwise the experts, it's fucking waste of time, even being an expert. Today, we've had an email, and obviously, this is from one of our friends, Nikki, and she's just put, MAFS UK. Hi, Chris and Dave. Just wanted to say thanks to the podcast and wanted to share a story about Matt that I learned from a girl I know. She grew up near Matt, and he asked her out when she was a teenager. When she said no, he started kicking bins and kicking off like a bell end. I might even have to watch Love Island to keep listening to the podcast, Nikki. So we don't know the full story there, Dave, but I am not shocked by that little story from Nikki. So thank you for that, Nikki. That revelation sort of fits with the whole profile of Matt, I think.
Yeah, I think it does line up. Obviously, we can't verify it. We're not professional journalists. But yeah, it definitely lines up, doesn't it? And the email says, Chris, when she was a teenager, just kind of wondering, where...
No, don't even say it. Just leave it at that. Let's just leave it at that.
you know where I was going, obviously.
Yeah, just no.
We've been podcasting for too long.
No, because you'd be telling me off if I was saying it. Let's just leave it at that.
I wonder what age he was.
Yeah, I fucking bet he was. Anyway. So, you've done a Chris Phelps on me, right? So, a massive thank you to everyone as always. Thanks for coming along for the journey, guys. It's been amazing. If you want to email us, cdrealitycast@gmail.com. If you want to follow us on social media, @cdrealitycast, please get over to Facebook. Chris and Dave's Reality TV Cast. Massive thank you, as always, to Charlene for running and moderating the Facebook page. I think we're nearly at 400 subscribers, Dave, 400 friends on there for our community. So thank you so much, guys. And it's just been such a ride. We've had such good fun. If you do want to support us a bit more, get over to patreon.com/CD RealityCast. So today's roll call of honour and final roll call of honour for this series of MAFS is Cassie, Megan, Kate, Annabeth, Maggie, Kristen, Zoe, Gillian, Michelle, Keith, Helen, Brianna, Jacqueline, Amy, Joanna, Libby, Katie, Dee Dee, Hannah, Priscilla, Susan, Hennessy, Lauren, Lucky Luda Green, and Kent Gustafson. So thank you so much, guys. It's been absolutely brilliant.
No, it's fantastic. And again, thanks to yourself, mate. It's been brilliant going through this whole season. MAFS, for me, still remains top of the pile in terms of series that, I just absolutely enjoy. And most episodes, I'll finish it off and then they'll show a clip for tomorrow. I'm like, oh, crap, I need to wish the day away again. So it's been absolutely amazing. We're going to take at least a couple of days out, aren't we? Just to recharge a little bit, and then we'll see what we're going to do next. I know that Love is Blind Series 3 has dropped, or at least the first 4 episodes have, but not committing to that one just yet. We'll have a look at the calendar and see what we can figure out.
Brilliant. All right, take care, everyone, and we'll see you soon.
Bye now.